Speaking of ThyssenKrupp's latest announcement, it may now seem like Netanyahu has been telling the truth with respect to his relationship to Case 3000. The fact is, though, several more questions have arisen in the wake of Netanyahu's recent actions. And with us in the studio to shed some light on the situation is Naphtali Bensimon, a journalist and a member of the Likud Party. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right, so Netanyahu is accused of things all the time lately, but he doesn't typically sue over it. Why is this situation so different?
The situation of the case of 3000
or him choosing to sue his political opponents?
Yeah, look, I think we are crossing every day another red line. And accusing Prime Minister Netanyahu as a traitor is too much. It's too ugly. It's outrageous. Someone who lost his brother in fighting terrorism far from here in Uganda. Someone who served the army and someone who is dealing every day with thousands of decisions in Gaza, with the Hamas, in Hezbollah, Lebanon, Iran, nuclear. To call him a traitor because there is an issue of submarine and ThyssenKrupp group, I think this is something that we cannot let it go.
Well, we are seeing a lot more op-eds come out and people saying that they're very upset with the way that the right is framing the left as perhaps not being supportive of Israel. If you are part of the left, if you are part of the opposition to the Likud Party, then you are somehow therefore not loyal to the state of Israel. So we're also kind of hearing that side to this picture, which is very problematic as well. What is your response to that?
I'm not glad to hear also from the right side that people from the left are not loyal to Israel. I can tell you every Israeli is a patriot. Every Israeli is contributing to the Israeli society. There are some differences, political differences, but enough is enough. If we want to win the election, let's talk about education, health, security, old people and others. But these patriotic games, it's good maybe for Hollywood or for McCarthy period, but it's not belonging to the Israeli
I agree with you, of
mood.
course, and I think that one of the main issues that we're seeing right now prior to the elections is basically this kind of turning everybody into enemies, right? If you don't agree with my politics, then you're the enemy. But then again, we saw what happened now with Trump making the announcement that Israel has the right to having sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Why did that happen right now? Is that a political ploy? Is that a move to try to get more support for Netanyahu? What is your take on that?
Well, let's not be naive. And, of course, it's a political statement. Of course, the timing is everything. And I'm glad that Prime Minister Netanyahu has a good friend in the White House, President Trump. There is nothing wrong about that. I think every Israeli will agree that this kind of statement, this is something very positive. But in a mood of personal vendetta against each other, and now the left think that no, it's not a good decision, it's not a good statement, etc., etc. But I'm glad that Netanyahu has a good friend there. I'm glad that this decision should be before and not now. But you know what? Sooner or later, it's okay.
It was an interesting announcement made via Twitter. I think that stood out to everybody. But I'd like to go back. We're running out of time here, but I would like to go back to the merits of the arguments that we're seeing against Netanyahu and also his decision to essentially go after Gantz and Lapid right now. Netanyahu said that Lapid, Gantz, Yalon, they knew that in order to defend himself that he'd have to divulge state secrets. If that's true, wouldn't Netanyahu still have to divulge these state secrets to the court?
Well, I'm not a security man to understand what is a secret here in the state of Israel. I don't have either the experience. I just was a journalist, and I'm not. I was not the chief of staff. I don't know exactly what they mean. This is the game of the big people to decide what is a secret or not.
So I think your message here is just forget all of these political ploys,
it's a nonsense, but the underline and the outcome of these ugly days is the clarification from ThyssenKrupp that there is nothing to do with the company that belongs to the cousin of Netanyahu. So that makes everything clear. Let's talk about serious matter and leaving these ugly issues that nobody knows or nobody exactly understands what the hell is going on.
Right. But of course, our voters do have to keep in mind, you know, that these cases are taking place. It is important to keep in mind. Thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we ran out of time.